Hi. Hello. Remember me? It's been a minute. It has been since, let me look in my notes here. August 29th, since my last video. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Barb. I am a cross-stitcher and quilter, and I reside here in West Seneca, New York, which is just a hair outside of Buffalo. Literally, if I look out my window and I see the street over there, technically that's Buffalo. This is my 25th video. It is Thursday, September 24th, 2025. My 25th video. I am still in awe that I have started this journey, and I remember it took me 2 years before I got the courage to start videoing because I felt like I really don't have much to say. My stitching isn't that good. I don't think anybody's going to want to watch me. I talk too much. I don't stitch big pieces. You name it, I came up with it. I don't have the time. I'm babysitting. Do I have to do this every week? Whatever there was a reason, I came up with it. And then one day I said, you know what? I want to be a part of this. Whether nobody watches my videos or everybody watches them, I want to be a part. I want to have this record of my journey. And you know what? Maybe even someday my kids will stumble across my Flosstube and Quiltube and say, what was she thinking? What was she thinking, right? But here I am, and I'm loving it. And I've made friends, and it's kind of hard as an introvert. I'm an only child. I'm an introvert. It's hard, very hard, to put myself out in a community. I can do it for a certain amount of time, and then I gotta come back, and I gotta catch my breath. But here in my home, where I feel like I'm talking to myself, and don't let me kid you, I talk to myself all of the time. My husband will say, who are you talking to? Me. It feels natural. It feels comfortable. And I'm so grateful that there are some of you who comment on my video. You know, maybe not a lot, maybe 3 or 4 comments. That's okay. That's fine. Or 5 or 6 likes. But I have 207 new friends, and I'm happy about that. And I hope that you engage with me more. In the drop-down box below, I do have my business email because I am a long-arm quilter. I do have a small business. I also have an Etsy shop, but I'm not putting anything in there right now because I'm building up stock. So I will be putting in a lot of fabrics and things like that. But I'm glad that you're able to interact with me, and I appreciate that. I may not always respond quickly, but I do respond. Okay? So if you are new here, if somebody sent you here, or you happen to have stumbled across my page, I am so happy you're here. You are welcome. I don't care if you are a prolific stitcher, if you have 75 whips, if you have 0 whips and you are a monogamous stitcher, if you stitch from left to right or right to left or up to down, or if you use DMC or silk or a combination, if you wash your pieces, if you press your pieces, if you don't finish your pieces and you put them in a box under your bed, I'm not going to judge you. This is a judgment-free zone. Is that correct? I will not judge you because we all have our things, right? I am a quilter. I am not going to look at your quilts and say, oh my God, you cut off your points. Nope. I am going to encourage you to work on your cross stitch, to work on your quilts, to do reading, to go for a walk. I want you to be happy with whatever it is that you're doing. And if I can help you in any way, if you have questions or a technique that I might have done, you know what? Email me, drop a comment. Hey, how did you do that? Most of the time I'll be able to tell you. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't know. It was just pure luck, right? So please hit the subscribe button. I would love to add more subscribers. I work in small amounts. I have 207. I'd love to get to 225. I have small goals. I am giving away something in every video. Why? Because I have a stash. I have patterns that I have stitched that I would like to pass along. Yes, I could put them in a stash unload group. But if there is somebody that is interested in a pattern that I have that I'm going to pass along, I would really love to do that. I do have another pattern that I showed in my last video that as I get closer to the end, I will tell who the winner is. I've actually already commented on that person's post to email me, but I do have another pattern that I'm going to give away in this video, and I'm going to do that in a little bit because I'm trying to follow my routine here. We all know how that goes. So let me talk to you a little bit. You will find that I am a talker. I do get sidetracked. I will be looking down at my notes because I'm trying to maintain, right? It was the same thing when I was teaching. I would go in with a lesson plan. I taught college. I would go in with a lesson plan, and then we would get started on something, and my students knew how to distract me. They were good at that. And that's okay. Because sometimes just having a conversation is less than enough, right? So what I would like to start with is gratitude. Now, World Gratitude Day was the 21st. Is that a thing? Yes, it is. Now, I am repeating what I was told. I have not researched this formally, but in a discussion, I learned that in 1965-ish, there was an individual speaking at a convention that said, you know what? We all need to be on the same page. We all need to be grateful for something. Doesn't matter what it is, right? Find something that you can be grateful for. So it took a bit for the world to jump on board. And from what I understand, it was in the late 70s that it became World Gratitude Day. So I believe that the date was chosen because that is the fall solstice. So from what I understand, it's even number of daylight, darkness hours. So everybody celebrates that at the same time, no matter where you are. And again, I'm repeating what I was told, so if I have my facts wrong, I apologize and please correct me. But we were having a discussion today about gratitude, and I mean, you could sit there and say, you know what, I am grateful that I have this coffee. I love coffee. Love it. I drink it every day. Maybe more than one pot. I'm not going to answer to that. But I thought about that today, and I've been thinking a lot about it this month in September. Now, as I have said in the past, last September, I started my cancer journey. I was officially diagnosed last October 1st with breast cancer. So how ironic, right? Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I went through a surgery, an infection, radiation, falling into a deep, dark pit. I didn't know how to handle things. I've never had cancer. Nobody in my family has. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know. And it wasn't until You know, I felt like I was drowning in deep, dark, murky water, and not having harmful thoughts, just having concerning thoughts. I didn't know. So I asked for help. I was connected with a therapist. I had 3 fantastic sessions. Only took 3. And it was back in April when I went to the Plum Street retreat, and I came back from that because, in all honesty, in October when I was diagnosed, I didn't think I was going to be here to go to that retreat. I didn't think I was going to be here at Christmas to celebrate with my family, right? You don't know. So when I came back from my retreat in April, I felt like, you know, like I'm like, I can, okay, my head's above water, I'm treading, right? And it has taken me until this month, until the retreat that I just attended in September, the beginning of September, the Needlework Press and Scarlett House retreat, that I realized I have so much to be grateful for. Not that it never crossed my mind, because it did, right? So I am looking every day how wonderful I feel, how thankful I am that I have my health, because I have had a mammogram done since then, and it is clear, and I have followed up with radiology, and I've been graduated from them. I have followed up with the surgical department, and I have been graduated. I still have breast health to deal with, and I will continue to deal with them. I think they follow me for 3 years. But every day, I am grateful. I am grateful for my cup of coffee, for my goofy dogs. I'm looking at Chet over here, and he's on his back. He loves to lay on his back with his paws out. I'm grateful for that, for my children, my grandchildren, my coworkers, my stitching, my home. Every day I am grateful, and I find something every day to be grateful. When I started coming out of my fog, and I relate to it as my fog, when I would lay in bed at night, I would say, okay, you need to relax. Think about 10 positive things that happened today. Start in the morning. 10 things. 10 things that made you happy today. What were they? And most of the time, by the time I got to 7 or 8, I was already lulled to sleep. It calmed me so much to think about the blessings that I have every day. So when we were talking about World Gratitude Day and how maybe we can begin our day, or at least at some point during the day, to be grateful, thankful, take a moment. You don't have to say 10 things, but you can take a moment. Even a moment saying, I am grateful that I have this moment to relax or to reflect. So my September, without even knowing it, has been a month of gratitude. And it was brought to my attention today that we do celebrate World Gratitude Day in September. And I'm thinking it's very ironic. So ironic. So I wanted to share that with you. Now, let's start. And I am looking down at my notes here because I need to. Okay. I didn't do any stitching since I got back from the retreat. Not cross stitching. The only thing that I stitched, and I'm going to show it to you, pink, that's the back of it, is the piece that I finished, the small that was given to us at retreat. So I haven't done any stitching since I came home. Why? Because I realized that I haven't done any quilting for me. I was quilting a lot of client quilts, finishing client orders, and don't get me wrong, I love that. But I took a step back and I said, well, what about something for me? Okay, see this quilt here? I finished the top 2 years ago. It was a Riley Blake block challenge that every week, 3 weeks out of the month, they would post a new block. Each designer designed the block. And then the 4th week, you tried to catch up if you could. So I did the challenge, got the blocks all done. The top was finished, and it sat there for 2 years. So I said, girl, quilt it. So I did. Then there's this quilt. And I'm going to show these more in detail later at the end because I know not everybody wants to see quilting. So this was a designer pattern that I was testing for somebody. And it was supposed to be done. She had wanted them by like September 1st or 4th or whatever. But that was also the weekend I was going to retreat. My long arm was down twice. So I finished it when I got back. And I'm going to talk about that after. So I took time when I came back from retreat and did some things for me. I finished this, and I will show you the front of it. It's very cute, very, very cute. And I was happy with that. I've also been crocheting, and I have that over there. I'm not really going to show it to you. I started a sweater. I think I've shown it before. I'm not super happy with it. It's going to be okay. It's literally, when I get done with it, it's going to be a knock around the house sweater. I had to order 2 more skeins of yarn, and they had the color labeled wrong. So I'm a little with that. I'm going to finish it because, you know, I'm on the sleeves, but that's okay. What else did I do? I redid this room. Last weekend, it's like last Thursday or Friday, I was sitting in here. I'm like, I got to paint this room. I got to do something in here because I'm trying to spruce up, right? So Saturday I went and picked up paint. I went, this is a Bear paint. I have the color somewhere. It's like a bluish gray. So I stood there, I looked at the colors, picked a swatch, went outside, looked at it, said, okay, I like this. And then I've got it on the walls and I'm looking at it. What I don't like about it is I was talked into getting a semi-gloss. I don't like semi-gloss for the reason of this. I don't like the shine. But it's okay. I'm filling up my wall space, and I'm going to show you what I have on this wall. As I go through, it's actually I called it my boomer wall, but I'll tell you why. So I've redone my den. I've gotten rid of some furniture in here, and I'm still putting things back up on the wall. I ordered curtains. Right now, there's no curtains up here. I ordered curtains, and I was sitting there the one night. I was like, oh, I like this color. Oh, I like this color. Only when they came in, they were too short because I didn't look at the length. So I had curtains up too. Where's my wall? Where's my thing? Where am I? Well, they were up above my head. That's how short they were. So I've got new curtains. Hopefully they're coming today or tomorrow. And normally I make curtains, but to be very honest with you, these are linen curtains. And for the price of one panel, it was like $10 a panel for 63 inches long. I couldn't buy fabric like that. And if I even could, the time it would take to make the curtain panel, I have other things to do, right? So I bought curtains. They're a gray color. Everything's gonna go together. I put down a new rug. I actually bought a rug, the same one that I have in my living room. I generally don't put rugs down. I have all hardwood floors and I like it that way. But sometimes the rug on the floor is a little bit more cozy and warm. So those are the things that I have been doing. I have been grateful that I have been able to take the time to do these things in my home. So my stitching, I've worked on 2 pieces, and these are the 2 pieces that I took to retreat. And they're from both designers. Now, let me tell you, I know not everybody has an opportunity to go on retreat. And I understand that. And, if you would have mentioned retreat to me a few years ago, I would have said, I can't. There's no way. It's costly. I'm not going to lie. It's not cheap. Even going to Rochester, which is about an hour and 15 minutes down the road from me, I stayed in Rochester. I'm not going to drive back and forth. I'm missing out on stitching time. So it was the cost of the retreat. I did not stay at the Woodcliff. I stayed at the Hilton Garden Inn, which is literally 5 minutes down the road. I would go there at night, shower, or, get up in the morning, shower, and go right to the Woodcliff, because for this retreat, they served us breakfast, lunch, and dinner, buffet style, and it was very good and plentiful. There was always coffee available, tea, water, pop. They always made those things available for us. So for this retreat, I did not need to purchase any food. I believe, I'm not 100% sure. I am going to the Brenda Gervais retreat next June. I am not sure what that's going to be, but it's still costly, right? I would love, love, love to go to the attic to a retreat, but for flying from here to Arizona, possibly renting a car, hotel, purchasing, sometimes it is just not cost effective. And then there's the other side of, hey, you know what? I have to make plans with my husband. Now, he actually works in Rochester. He drives back and forth every day. So I would, I have to make plans to have somebody here with the dogs. Someone's got to be here at night, right? They got to let the dogs out, and the cat, got to feed the animals. So we have to coordinate our schedules, and that's fine. He has golf outings that he goes on, and that's great. He's got one coming up next June. It's already in my calendar. And that's wonderful. He goes with his brother and his cousins, and they go for 4 days, and it's peaceful. It's peaceful. Listen, it is a second marriage for both of us. We do not have to ask each other permission to go anywhere. And to be very honest with you, I don't think anybody should have to ask permission. What I think is acceptable is, hey, can we coordinate our schedules? We each need some time, right? We each need time for ourselves, for our activities. I don't think that should be a problem. So, we do coordinate our schedules, and that's great. So this retreat was a gift from him for Mother's Day, which I was speechless when he presented me with the paperwork, and I was like, "How did you do this?" He said, "I called Hobby House." So they were like, "Sure, we'll register her." So I understand that it is not always cost effective for a lot of people, and I recognize that, and I truly appreciate when I have this opportunity to go and meet these designers and meet new ladies and have new stitchy friends. So let me talk to you about my new stitchy friends. So this is my name tag. Oh, look at the glare. Sorry. So this was our name tag. And at my table, see, I keep these little things. Like this was my little pass from the hotel. I will keep these things. This will get hung downstairs. I didn't hang it yet, but I'm going to hang it with last year's retreat name tag. So I will take this and I will put this in my book because, back in April when I had the retreat, I still have all of this stuff. There's my dog's birthday picture. It's birthday's Portia. So I keep my things in my book here from the retreat. So I will keep this. Vicki and Tanya had a little fun quiz, an about them quiz. So, I'm going to keep that in here. It's just so much fun to have these little mementos from the retreat. So all this will go in here for now. Now at my table, my new friends, and this is another thing about new stitchy friends. We started a group chat. We actually started it while we were there to make sure. Oh, hang on one second. Oh my God, my body doesn't stretch like that sometimes. I've got my stuff laying here on the dog bed, and Pip decided he was going to lay there. That's the problem of doing this in this room right now. my dining room table where I would normally sit and film is completely filled with all the extra stuff that was in here that I now have to find room for. Anyway, so my table mates, Tracy and Connie, came together from Michigan, and they actually met at a previous retreat and found out that they lived close to each other. So they actually get together with a group of people, a group of other stitchers, maybe once a month, I believe they said. So we are all in a group chat. So it's Tracy and Connie, Lori, and Olia. Now Olia, that woman stitches like you wouldn't believe. Holy cow. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So, you know, we may go a week without texting each other, or we may pop in a picture and, you know, and everybody's chatting. So I enjoy that. So now I have new friends. My friend Connie is she's a little bit of an enabler. And Connie, I think you know what we're talking about here. But anyway, so going to retreat and meeting new friends was just phenomenal. Also, going to retreat and meeting these designers. Vicki and Tanya sat with us. Well, they made their rounds. Vicki actually sat with us Friday night. Now, when I first met Vicki, I went up to her and I said, I am stitching this piece in honor of my mother and my daughter and myself. And I said, I'm changing it just a little bit for to honor us, you know, to show our initials. Oops, my pattern came out here. Let me get this back in the bag. And it's called And Be Kind. Now, I started this on the anniversary of my mother's death. My mother's been gone 7 years. And I started this, I can tell you because I have it on here, in 2022. So, needless to say, I need to get a cracking on this. But I showed it to her and I said, this is what I'm doing. This is a beautiful piece. And it is a companion to another piece, but let me just pop this out here. I'm going to try to hang it on here because I did not bring my design board in because I really don't have much to show you. So this is where I am with this. Now, this alphabet is where I'm highlighting my mother. You see the JL. Those are my mother's maiden initials. Mine are up here in this top one, BT. And then down here in this last alphabet area, I will put my daughter, RO. So I don't have much more to go. I just have basically down to here. Now, when I showed this to Vicki, and I told her what I was going to do, and I asked her to sign my copy of my pattern, and she did. She also said to me, here's my phone number. Text me what you want, and I'll rechart that bottom for you. Honest to God, I'm still flabbergasted. I've got her phone number. I have Vicki Jeanette's phone number. I didn't know what to say other than, oh my God, thank you. This is the bottom of the chart. Obviously, the only thing I really want to change is the 2025. I like this. I don't even know what I would have her do because I am highlighting our initials within those alphabets. And I'm using all of the same colors, but I've moved them around a little bit. I'm using the Ye Old Gold in each of the alphabets to highlight our initials. But I was flabbergasted when she said, text me. That's how these designers are. Okay, now, they both sat at all of our tables. They walked around. Tanya was bopping around to everybody's table. Vicky was sitting at other people's tables. All my stuff is falling over here. If you have an opportunity to go and meet the designers, I truly hope you take advantage of it, because they're just phenomenal. And this is for any designers. You know, when I went to the April retreat, the Plum Street retreat, and Laura and Brenda were going to be there, Brenda said, because I talked to Brenda, I talked to Laura. Brenda said, we're just like you. We're just stitchers who love to stitch. We're not famous people. But in my eyes, you are, because you just speak to all of us. And to have somebody know through stitching how you feel, I can't explain it, right? I just feel so honored to be a part of the stitching community. Now, I love my quilting community, but I'll tell you, sometimes those quilt police can hurt your feelings. I have not met a stitching police person, lady or man, right, that is not going to encourage you. So, I'm sorry, quilters, but man, oh man, sometimes it can be a little rough, right? Not in the stitching world. You want to stitch your top stitch opposite? Do whatever you want, as long as you're consistent, right? And if you're not, I have a piece up here that I rescued, and I've shown this piece before. Her top stitch always goes from the bottom left to the top right. No, from the bottom right to the top left, the way I stitch. So if she was stitching her piece, her top stitch always went from the bottom right to the top left. Even when she turned it. Now you know that that's going to make your stitch go wonky, right? It's going to go the opposite way. So whenever she turned her piece, whether it was left or right, not if she went all the way upside down, but if you go to the left or to the right quarter turn, your stitch is going to change. And hers did. I don't care. I love the piece that she stitched and I finished, and I'm going to show it to you. And I know I've shown it to you before. So let me finish here. So this is the other piece that I was working on, because I wanted to bring a piece from each of the designers to show them that I'm, what I'm stitching, because it just resonated with me. So Charlotte Murdoch from the Scarlett House, Tanya Brockmeyer. I am telling you, this little piece is darling. It is tiny. She be tiny. Okay. Ooh, don't lose my needle. This is it. This is the width. And the length is not much longer. I have a good 2 inches, top and bottom, for this piece. So look how tiny she is. So what I said to Tanya, I said, I'm going to change this up. I'm removing Charlotte Murdoch. I'm not putting her name or the year. And, maybe some of the sampler purists say, don't do that. But we stitch what we love, and we make it our own. I have 7 labs, or have had 7 labs. I have lab number 6, lab number 7 right now. I'm going to put 5 black labs and 2 yellow labs on here. Now, along the bottom here, where these little tiny puppies are in her name, that's 1/1. So I looked at this and I said, well, can I do 2/2 and put in more dogs? I only would have room for 3 dogs. I don't think I'd be able to fit 4. So I might have to do 1/1. But I'm not even worrying about charting this out yet, because to be very honest, what I'm going to have to do is make another working copy of this and blow it up and probably, you know, like, I don't even know. Honestly, I'm not even sure how I'm going to do it, but I am going to do it. It's a very easy pattern. It goes very quickly. I'm really enjoying it. But it is something that I am going to turn into you know, not for my dogs, but because of my dogs. So those were the two pieces that I stitched at retreat. When I got there on Friday, we started at like 1 o'clock. Check-in time was like 4. We had dinner, and then they gave a little chit chat, and they gave us, I believe Vicky gave us her piece first. I'm just gonna scooch out of your way here, and put these off to the side. I don't even know where I'm gonna put it. What is this? Oh, that goes in this bag. I am all kerfluffled here because normally I would be at my table, but clearly there's so much stuff on my table from this room. But that's okay. It'll get done. I got to figure out where I'm going to put it. I actually have to go and clean out another room, and I think that's where I'm going to move things, right? Move things, see what you have. Okay. So now what they gave us, I'm trying to not drop anything off of this table here. My table mates, my table mate Lori made us each a bag, and she's got that stabilizer in here, that foamy stabilizer. I do not have a bag like that. I mean, this is like, this bounces right back. So she made this. This is Teresa Kogut fabric, because I have some. So she did this for us. It's just, you know, she's got the cute shoe fabric on the inside. So she gave us this. Tracy made us the little coasters where you put your, you know, you put your cup, the base of the cup in here like a wine glass. Maybe a wine glass. So that was another gift. Connie kept us going with candy on the table, which was phenomenal. And then I had made, oh shoot, I didn't bring it in here to show. I had made like a little scissor case. It was a pattern that I had from a while ago. I did a wool front and a fabric back, and then I just did a buttonhole stitch around, put in a pair of scissors, and I had the Lori Holt crochet button, or the crochet flower with a button, and then I attached a 2025 charm. So the flower and the button and the charm could be used as finishes on another item. So they were a hit with the table. I also gave one to Vicky, and I gave one to Tanya, and I also gave one to my friend Vic from Hobby House Needleworks, but we'll talk about her later. So we were given a small on Friday night, and some of the pictures I can't show because it's the pattern, but I'll tell you about them. So the small that we were given on Friday night, I absolutely fell in love with, and it was Tanya. And I'm hoping I remember that I'm getting the days right, and not Vicky's was Friday. But one of the smalls that we were given was from Tanya. I started it immediately. Now what she did, now the small that Tanya gave us and the sampler that Tanya gave us, I'm going to show that too, but all of the floss that we were given is for all of Tanya's pieces. So there's plenty of floss for everything that Tanya gave us. She gave it on a ring, and it had a little butterfly here. The reason being, this was the piece, I literally started this right away. It's called Fluttering Butterflies Pin Keep. I loved it. Now everything came with this. The fabric, the tin, which I gave you a little peek, the floss, and I started this right away. And this is my finish. I finished this when I got home I finished stitching it Sunday night. I left the retreat, came home Sunday night, finished stitching it, and then I fully finished it Monday. So this, I'm trying to see how she had it. I mean, you know, you can really turn it any way. But I put the 2025 charm on it right there. And this little bit of pink right here that you cannot really tell what it is. It's right here by the charm. Those are my initials. But look at that blue and white gingham butterfly. Now, isn't that adorable? So I stitched this. I started stitching this right away. And I pretty much stitched this throughout the retreat because I really wanted to get it done. But of course I had made mistakes. But I finished it. Now, what I'm going to do, because I do like, I mean, we were given this and this. The only thing was obviously not the polyfill. But what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to make some ruching and put it in here. And I might pop in a couple pins. I really don't have any decorative pins. But isn't that just adorable? I just loved it. Now, this was the first year. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, but when I was gardening back in summer, I had found caterpillar, and I did a little bit of research and talked in my garden group on Facebook that I belong to, and I grew a monarch butterfly, and I released it. And I had never done that, and I was just enamored and so excited. So when Tanya gave us this, and roses, now my goal this year was to have 65 rose bushes. I want to have as many rose bushes as I am old. And there I go, I gave away my age, but I don't care. I only have about 60. So roses and butterflies, it just meant so much. So this was the piece that Tanya gave us. And this piece, I'm going to put this over here, came from her chart, which we received on Saturday. Now, I love this chart. This is I'm going to pull out everything here. I was going to keep it in the bag, but I'm seeing that this glare is really annoying. So, she gave the linen. Now this is 36 count cactus wren from Fox and Rabbit. It's very pretty. It's darker in person. I don't know if a white would make it look a little darker. But this is the chart. Woo, sorry. It's called, let me come back to the front here. A. Carter, 1833, aged 7. So if you look over here, you'll see that rose. And if you look up top, now these butterflies are just a little bit different up here in the corners. Okay. So that's where Tanya got her small from. Now, what I enjoyed about these designers talking about their charts, you don't have to stitch the ladybugs or the bugs up here. Somebody, because and I'm sure if you go on Instagram and you look up the Scarlett House, you'll see the original piece, which is actually on here too. Okay. But if you look up at the top here, right here, people were saying they look like fish. They do, but they're ladybugs. If you really look at them, you know. So if you don't like that, don't stitch it. If you're not people-y, don't stitch the ladies with their umbrellas. Right? I don't think I've seen ladies with umbrellas in a piece. If you only like certain elements, take out what you like. What I loved about this is the border. Can you see it? No, Barb, because there's glare. See that border? I'm telling you right now, the borders on both of these pieces from Vicki and Tanya just really caught my eye. So I would not stitch this as it is, but I would definitely use that border. I love the roses in it. I love the butterflies in it. I like the vases. I don't care for the crabs. To me, those look like crabs. But that's okay. These designers encourage you to stitch what you love. So I got to put this back in here. So, and where is, nope. Where did I put it? Oh, I put it back in here. Okay. So I am keeping both charts together because, as I said, the floss is there. So to be honest, the only piece, sorry for moving out of the frame. The only piece that I have stitched since I came back from retreat was this. I finished it and I love it. I have it displayed next to my dough bowl, and I've been moving it around a little bit because I want to look at it, right? It's cute. So that was the one. This was from Tanya. Now, Vicki did the same, in which she gave us all the floss. Look at these colors. Look at these colors. Oh, right? Woo. And, you know, some of the ladies at the table were saying, well, I don't know if I would ever stitch with avocado. Oh my God, it matches my shirt. Or, you know, there's two, if we needed two, they gave us 2 pea pods. So Vicki's piece, I can't show you her small that she gave us because it is the chart. But it is a piece from the chart here. And it's done. We were given, obviously, the chart. It's done on perforated paper. And we were actually given the frame for it. So what, I'll describe it to you. It is the red bird from this centerpiece here. I'm going to show it to you. And it says joy. So this could be very easily done for Christmas. I'm moving it out of the way because, again, as I said, it is literally the chart, and I don't want to show it. So this was Vicki's chart that she gave us from Needlework Press. It's Esther Hawksworth, 1848, and there is a lot going on in this chart. So the small that Vicki gave us is this bird right here with a little bit of the rose. It's very similar. And then it says joy at the top. So it could be stitched for Christmas because it's done in reds. So what drew Vicki to this, her story, is the cow. She loves the cow. She loves this kind of cow. And it actually says, while the cow was what initially nabbed us, we fell in love with her lone 6-sided star motif border, birds and flowers. They really can't give too much on this because she's, you know, she really didn't have too much information. There is also something on here that they maintain the integrity of Esther's 19th century work. They adjusted the words, gave some spacing, evened out the border. The central crucifix on the antique is charted for those who prefer the options. So if we look at, this is the original, and I know it's very difficult to see, But I'm sure if you go to Vicky's page, you will see she does have the original posted. She has the original and this piece posted side by each. Okay, I have pictures of it too from the retreat, but I still have not figured out how to insert pictures into this video. So the crucifix is right here. What they did on their version is they put the butterfly. And they adjusted the wording a little bit because the wording on here is very jumbled. It's not evenly spaced. So now Vicky also talked about the peacocks in this design. Now, I don't like birds. I'm not a fan of birds. I'll put a couple of small birds in, but that's not something I would like. To me, what I see down here, these little squirrels, I see baseball. I see them holding a baseball bat, which I know it's not true. But what I see in this that I absolutely love are these rose bouquets. And look at this border. Doesn't that remind you of maybe a beautiful Christmas border you could use on something if you stitch with reds and greens? Now the borders on here are multicolored. It's just, and it's not consistent in color. It's colors that are bouncing around. And as a matter of fact, let me see where it is right here. This particular motif over here has two colors in that. So I love the borders on both of these designs. I wouldn't stitch a cow. I wouldn't stitch the birds. I would stitch the butterfly, the border, the rose bouquets. So how hard would that be to make a small and, you know, even just take one of the rose bouquets and work this border. I would work a border first to see how it would fit. And then I would put in a rose bouquet and maybe a couple of vases. Who knows, right? Multitude of options. Multitude of options. So Vicky gave us, as far as fabric, yada, yada, yada. I thought I wrote it down. Oh, goodness. I know I wrote it down, but I darn it. I'm pretty sure it's a 36 count. Maybe it's vintage country mocha. It's gorgeous. And again, it's dark. It's a little bit darker than what's showing here because of the lighting. And I know I wrote down what the fabric is. I just don't remember where I wrote down what the fabric is. So I thought maybe I had written it in here. Oh, I know where it is. It's in my notebook from the retreat. So, okay, so that was Vicky's main piece. Vicky's small. And then Tanya and Vicky together, and I can't show this, again, because it's the actual pattern. I can show the backing because this is not their pattern, but it's a little needle book, and it's called For My Needles and Threads, and it's worked. Well, this is the paper for the needle book. It's done your perforated paper, which of course I've got someplace. Here it is. It's inside here. So here's the perforated paper that they gave us. Here's the wool. Here's the other paper. And the front, well, you can put the front however you want the front and the back however you want the back. One piece is, if you remember, in Tanya's pattern that I showed, the lady with the umbrella. There's the lady with the umbrella, a couple of little flying, I want to say they're ladybugs, and then a little vase with the bird on top. And then Vicky's is just the alphabet with the quilt block and 2 small flowers. So together combined is the needle book that you can make. And then they gave this to cut apart if you're doing journaling. Now, you know, whether you cut it apart to put little pieces inside this needle book, or you use it for journaling, or however you use it, that was their combined piece that they gave us on Sunday. They were very generous. Very generous. Each have said that there is enough floss. I forgot to put this in Tanya's bag. Enough floss to complete all of the pieces. Now, I know I used, obviously, some of the floss for my little piece right here. I'm very conservative when I use my floss, but I made mistakes. So, and I'm also not too concerned because, as I said, with both of those pieces, I will not stitch the whole sampler. So, I am very grateful that I went to that. And it was lovely, and I made new friends, and I'm very happy about that. I was tickled when Vicky took the little video of me with my book of days, and she has posted it up on her Instagram. She did a little reel from, she was doing a lot of reels back from the retreat, and it was the first one in, you know, the first weekend in September. So if you go back, you'll have to look for the dates of like the 5th, 6th, 7th, and around that time. They were both popping up stuff while we were there as well. So that was great. I enjoyed it, and I am looking forward to my next retreat. I'm sliding down here in my chair. My next retreat next June with the Brenda Gervais. Oh gosh, I know I'm going to be talking about that a lot. Okay, now, so I went to retreat. What did I buy? I bought fabric. And again, I'm not going to go through, sorry for moving out of camera, but everything is here on the floor. So I'm not going to go through a lot of it, only because people are not interested in quilting. But I did buy, oh my goodness, quilting fabric. I got home with this and I'm thinking I already have it, but that's okay, right? This is a Moda fabric, and it is called Rosemary Cottage. And it is by, I'm just going to move my label, or move the label so I can read it. Rosemary Cottage by Camille Ross Kelly. Gorgeous fabrics. This is a fat quarter bundle because I purchased this fat quarter bundle. This is a curated bundle from Hobby House. And it is by, it's called Trade Winds. Beautiful fall colors. I also bought another curated fat quarter bundle. This one is called Quiltworks. It's by Quiltworks. And it is a reproduction bundle of fabrics. Again, my colors. So, you know, whether I use this for finishing or for quilts or for project bags or whatever, I have gotten to the point in my life that I buy the whole bundle because of the opportunity of having, oh my goodness, a bit of each piece, okay? Same with this. I've had this sitting here for a minute. I haven't shown it. This is a Moda. It's called Threads, and it's a sewing themed related. I'm trying to pull the name out of here. And it is by Sweetwater. And these are all sewing themed fabrics. Like, it's a good day for a quilt. This is like a panel. This top piece is a panel. So, that I didn't buy at retreat, I've had. What else did I buy? Hang on, I'm falling out of screen again. Because everything has fallen to the floor. So, I did purchase I took everything out of the bag because of all of the crinkles. I did purchase a pattern because at Hobby House they had, obviously they had all of Tanya's patterns and they had all of Vicky's patterns right on display as you came in. And for some reason, I don't know why I never saw this one. You know, it's called We Are the Sampler Makers. Plying our needle on linen with thread, our work will live on long after we are dead. Our gentle art gives us such pleasure. The stitchers before us we truly do treasure, for we are the sampler makers. So this is the piece, or the pattern, I should say. And I bought most of the floss for it. I think there's one or two that are missing, but I am sure I have it someplace else. It's all, it's Weeks and Classic Colorworks. So I think the color that I didn't get was the color for the stitching. So I only bought one pattern. But I bought some fabric. I didn't buy as much as I bought in April. This is, of course, Fiber on a Whim Espresso. It is a 32 count fat quarter. And of course, it's going to be lighter in the camera because of the lighting. So pretty. Fiber on a Whim and Cedar River linen. Just take my money, okay? Just take it. Don't even ask. Just take it. This is a tabby cat, and they had this, I believe this is the one that they had as a an exclusive at Hobby House right at this time for retreat. It's a 36 count Scarborough Fair tabby cat. It's got some browns in it. It is a very, whoops, I'm sorry. It is a very light blue with some browns in it. It's very pretty. It's very, very pretty. I like the modeling in this. And I am, you know, I said this back in April when I went to buy fabric, or when I was at retreat and bought more fabric. I'm trying to get away from the natural color linens. I want to add a little bit more color. You know, I look around at the pieces that I have done throughout the years, and everything is, you know, ivory or beige or something like that. So I'm really trying to bring in a little bit more color, because this is that new millennial. They had a whole bunch of millennial. I think they were doing a trunk show. So this is called River Rock. It is a 28 count even weave. And man, does it feel nice. This is the first time I've purchased any of this. This is also a blue. Look at that modeling in there. That even weave. Gosh, it's so pretty. So, so pretty. I've also been trying to build up my even weave stash. Now, if I'm going to do a more involved piece, something that's going to be hanging on, you know, that's not, what's the word I mean? Not seasonal. I'm going to use linen. If I'm going to do a seasonal piece that's not going to be out all of the time, I'm going to use even weave. And if it's literally like a Christmas ornament, I'm going to use Ada. So I pick and choose. So I'm trying to bring in more even weave. Now this is called Pine Cone. This is also by Millennial. I purchased pretty much fat quarters of everything. This is really pretty. Look at this. This is like a pinkish rose kind of, maybe terracotta kind of color. It's a little bit darker than what it's showing. That's too light. It's a little bit darker. But it reminds me of a very pretty terracotta, a light terracotta color, or a rosy color. It's very, very pretty. I could see something done maybe, I don't know, maybe Valentine's Day or even fall, because it's very pretty. This is a linen. This is 32 count linen, and it's called Sparrow. This doesn't seem to have too much modeling to it. It is a lighter color linen. Very light on the modeling. It's a very soft beige. It does have, to me, a little pink undertone. So this is very pretty. I have more. This is also millennial, and it is called Bourbon, 32 count linen. This is really nice. This I could see on a fall piece. Look at this modeling in this piece. Look at this. And this really is more, gosh, I'm trying to, that's too washed out. It's more rust color. But look at that modeling. You know, isn't it sometimes we just take the fabrics and just look at them? They're so pretty. I do the same with my quilt fabrics. I will pet the fabric. I will pet the fabric. And when I was at Hobby House and I was walking through the quilt shop over there, I was literally just petting the fabric. I made sure my hands were clean, but I will pet the fabric. So that was it on the millennial. And then one other piece I purchased was Pumpkin Patch 32 count by Manny Dodonna. So cute. This too has some nice modeling in it. It's a little bit darker than showing. This would be great for a fall piece as well. I do see myself always gravitating toward more of fall colors. I don't like the cold. I am much more a spring summer person, but I love the colors of fall. Love the colors of fall. So now what I also did when I actually realized I was going to be able to go to the Hobby House retreat was I placed an order to be picked up because I knew that the Cedar River linen would be pretty much gone, right? So I ordered all Cedar River linen before I went to Hobby House. This is 32 count salt ash. And this is a very light color. It has a little bit of green in it. A little bit of green. It is so hard to see it. But it does, to me, it has a little bit of a green undertone in it. It could be my eyes, but that's what I see. So that's salt ash. This is also Cedar River. It is 32 count pyrite. A little bit more brown. Again, another fat quarter. There's not much modeling to this. Hardly. I hardly see any. I mean, it's there, but it is so muted. Love it. And this is Tephra. This is also 32 count. I'm trying to stick with 32 count. I will do 36, but I'm finding 32 on Cedar River is really, I really like it. And Cedar River is a little bit more stiff, and I like that too. So this is Tephra. You can see modeling in there. Very pretty. They're so close in color, right? This is Albarium, 32 count. This is a very light color linen. It is not white. It is, I want to say, you know, of course it's hard to see in here, but I would say it has even a little bit of yellow in it. Very pretty. I could see something wintry on this, actually. With like really dark greens or dark blues. Great. This is the reason I made the order. This is Coffee Stain, 32 count. I had to have more. This is only a fat eighth because I do have a fat quarter here, but this is Coffee Stain. Oh man, I think this has to be one of my favorites. I truly, truly love Cedar River linen. Just love the feel of it and the coloring, and you know, it just makes my heart happy. So that's what I bought at Retreat. Let me show you, what else do I have here? I'm missing something. I'm missing a bag. Where's the bag I'm missing? Isn't there another bag here? I am missing something. This is the problem that I'm having right now, because I have a bag. Well, darn it. I've got to go find this other bag. If I would have looked a little harder, it was right down by my feet. So one of the other gifts that we got from Hobby House, on top of the hospitality, and they had a van that they were carting people back and forth to the shop, to the 2 hotels or 3 hotels. Now let me tell you this, if you ever have an opportunity to go to Hobby House for a retreat, if you don't stay at the Woodcliff and you stay at the Hilton Garden Inn, and I think there's a Hampton Inn, they give you discount rates if you tell them that you are with the Hobby House retreat. So I want to say, I think my hotel was only $119 a night because of the discounted rate. So that's another thing too. And if you go with a friend and, you get a room that's got 2 double beds, right? Or 2 queen size beds, it can be cost effective for you. So the other gift that we got from Hobby House, because they also give us gifts, was another Winterberry. And this is a new exclusive color. I don't think they're selling this yet. So last year, they gave us, or in April, they gave us a Winterberry, the blue one. It was a little scissor, or a pouch, not a pouch, but shoot, I should have brought it. But it folded over with a snap. This is like a scissor case, or, it would be a really nice scissor case, or even a very small stitching case. If you're doing the stitchy cases, I don't know how much you could fit in here, but this was the gift from Hobby House this year. So now I have the pink. This I bought myself back in April, and I kept my little hotel key in here and some cash. My husband bought me this for my birthday last year, and of course I unzipped it. So I have this Winterberry case, and I keep stuff in here. I keep my little charm. I think I started. This is the second time I'm filming this because I hit the wrong button. So I think I showed this in the original video. Vicky gave us all these charms. I'm going to put it over here in front of my face so it zooms in. The little cactus. I believe that is her favorite cactus out there in Arizona. So I'm actually going to take this charm and put it on that bag. But I have, I took this case with me. This is my little stitchy box. And no, I don't have it finished. I just don't. I had my little needle case that I bought for myself. And this is from Needle in a Haystack. And I know I've shown this on previous videos where this is actually made of wood. And it's laser cut, and oh, it smells so good. You can smell the wood burning in it. And this is all laser cut, so it actually makes this wood fold like paper. Needle in a Haystack. Very reasonable. I think it was like 25 bucks. I had my initial put on it. You can have, there's different things that you can have done. So if you look for that, Needle in a Haystack. So I have this in here. I have extra needles. In the bottom, my husband also bought this for me. I have my little SoSheSew scissors in here. So I have that. I also have in the bottom here my Hobby House. I don't use thread drops. I wind my DMC. And I don't use thread drops like this in a pattern. So I just have this in there as a little ruler. I also have a tape measure, and then I have my little Kohana snippies in there too if I needed those. But that's what I carry in this box. So I have a few pieces of this winterberry stash here, and you know, it's beautiful. And if I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty sure I'm right on this, Kathy is the one that designs these. Kathy from Hobby House. She designs these. I'm pretty sure I saw that a tartan plaid was coming out or is out right now. So that was our gift from Hobby House. I'm going to double check my notes here because I know I'm pretty much keeping in order. So let me talk about the giveaway, right? I've gone through all this other stuff, showed you the only two pieces that I've stitched and the only piece that I finished. So my dog chart winner. Now, in my last video, like I've said, I'm going to be giving away a chart, something, every video. I'm going to try to break down my stash. I might even start giving away pieces of like cloth and stuff that I just want to, you know, pass along to somebody that's going to use it. So in my last video, I asked you to use the word dog because I have this pattern, Dog Lessons for People, and I did stitch it, and it's hanging down in my hall. Nope, it's actually now in my living room. I did stitch this in honor of my dogs because, you know. So the winner, oh, I shouldn't have said that. My new stitchy friend who's going to get this chart to stitch for herself is Kathleen Banky 9005. Kathleen Banky 9005. Kathleen, I have already commented on your comment from my last video. Please email me. Please be over 18 so I can ask for your address. You can email me at SoSheSewsAndQuilts at netzero.net. That'll be down below because I know I rattled it off and everybody's like, what? And I say, I'll write it out for you. It's a tongue twister. I don't know what I was thinking when I came up with my business name. Clearly I wasn't. Probably had too much coffee. So email me, Kathleen, and I will send this out to you. I will also send you a 2025 charm because I have plenty and I'm not going to stitch enough to use all those charms. I also have charms from 2024. If you would like some charms, let me know. I'll send them out to you. They are this charm here. If you can see it, I'm going to zoom in really close. That's the size. And I do have 2024. I don't know if I have any 2023s. But if you want some 2024 charms to go back and pop on some of your pieces, please let me know. I will include them with some 2025 charms. I put them on a lot of the smalls because why not, right? And I will be ordering them for 2026. So again, Kathleen Banky 9005, please email me at my business email address and I will get this in the mail to you. Now, my giveaway that I said it again. Don't use those words. Don't use those words. The pattern that I would like to pass along to a new stitchy friend is Animal Cracker Dr. Raven by Stacy Nash. If you are interested in stitching Dr. Raven, please use the word Raven, R-A-V-E-N, in your comment. Whatever you would like to say. Okay, even if you just want to use the word Raven, I am fine with that. But this is my next chart that I am going to be passing along to a new stitchy friend. So I'm writing down the word Raven, R-A-V-E-N, and that is the word that I will use before my next video to find the new owner of this chart. So, where are we at? Well, my plans, I am still Really enjoying using the number picker that I was using to go through my whips. I had really hoped that I would have stayed on track and gotten through all of my whips by the end of this month, but you know what, I didn't, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to take a look at that, and I'm going to see how many more pieces I really want to stitch on, or maybe just restart my whole whip progress with my 35 or 40 whips. I'm not even sure how many I have now. Have I started anything? I did do July. My Christmas in July was all new starts for me because those were my gifts to myself. That was my Christmas in July. I had 10 starts, and I think I fully finished 2 pieces. So September, sampler September, honestly, I like I said, I have not really stitched all month, and I'm okay with that because I've been doing these things here and some other things and some client work and painting and crocheting, and I'm okay with that, right? I am not beating myself up over it. And my stitchy friend Cindy, she hasn't been stitching either, and I said, but you know what? We have so many things that we enjoy. Unfortunately, we cannot fit them all in one day. So it is okay if we take a break from stitching. It's not going anywhere. A whip is a whip, right? It doesn't matter if it's 10 years old or a month old. It's a whip. It's a whip. So, and I know I've said this before, I have a couple of whips that I haven't even put into my whip parade, so to speak. But I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to revisit all of my whips because, as I said, I've taken my big doll crib out of here that I have all of my project bags put into. And those are, you know, I've been pulling and working from that. So I'm moving it someplace else. And I'm going to go through all of my whips again and see where I'm at. And there's a couple pieces that I'm still not sure about. One of them is a Kim Deal piece. And I think I'm going to talk to you about that the next time. I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to talk to you about that the next time. What irks me is that I bought the Valdani threads for it to do it, and I'm not enjoying it. So now I have a lot of Valdani threads. But you know what? I'm going to save that for the next time. I'm actually going to make myself a note about the Kim Deal piece and just kind of get your opinions on that. See what I should do. So I'm going to revamp my whips. I'm still going to use the number picker. I found that worked really well for me. I was consistent on working on my temperature Quaker. And like I said before, it's got to run the whole year of 2025 anyway. So I'm not going to beat myself up over it if I don't stitch on it every Sunday like I said I was going to. I do want to pull in that piece that I'm doing for my mother and my daughter and I, and really try to get that done by the end of the year. I would love to have that professionally framed. Hobby Lobby did a beautiful job on my Americana Red, which I did show you in my last piece. Did win first place at the fair. Still shocked over that. And very grateful. That's another thing I am grateful for, because that was the piece that I have said numerous times helped me through my cancer journey. So, what else do I have to say? I think that's all I'm going to touch on for cross stitch. I know that, you know, this video is going on an hour and a half long, and you know what, I apologize, but I don't. I think it's an hour and a half. I can't even see the camera up there. I have a lot to say, and I'm hoping that you have a lot of time to sit with me. I've watched a lot of Flosstubes. I started taking notes like I have been, and I just kind of lost track. I can tell you that my friend Vic from Nightingale Stitches from Hobby House, I saw her at the retreat, and it's been so nice. She actually just posted a video. She hadn't done one in a long time either. So I encourage you to please just, you know, even if you put in the search bar in YouTube, first time Flosstube number 1, something like that. If you find new people, I would love it if you just, in a comment to me, hey Barb, watch this person, or hey, I found a new person that you might not know of. I would love that, because I'm really trying to find those new people, like their videos, build their base, and I'm hoping they're building my base as well. So I am going to start this weekend going back to my regulars. Sarah. Oh, I miss Sarah. I haven't seen Sarah. I've watched a few of Andrew's videos. I've missed Karen. I did catch Carol Saltbox. But so many of my normal peeps that I watch, I haven't been watching because I'm trying to really find the new people in the amount of time that I can sit and watch Flosstube. So I'm going to do that. This today came in the mail literally just before I started my Punch Needle and Primitive magazine. I am unsure if I wanted to renew this until this magazine came today. If you're a fall person, you need to, I have to show you one. I'm not going to show you many. I'm doing this out of the range of the camera. This is one that I am going to stitch. It is called Sibylla, Scissors Case and Pincushion, and it is by, hang on, oh, I can't pronounce her name. Let me just show it to you. Look. Isn't this cute? This is who it is. Can you see that down there? Look at this. Tell me this is not adorable. I don't think I'm going to cancel my subscription. I mean, I am not a punch needle person. And I'm not going to lie. There are some patterns that I just don't care for. There's a couple of the magazines that I'm just like, whatever. But if you have your subscription, you also have access to all of the online magazines. Now, Teresa Kogut, her Creative Whims, she's got a punch needle on here. And if you're in the homespun group, you know that Teresa Kogut is the exclusive right now. Stunning. Stunning. No, I didn't purchase it yet. So I have that. One other thing that I got that I didn't show you when I went down to visit my daughter a month ago, I stopped at an antique store. Look at this sewing tin. I knew what it was right away. And a lady walked past me. She's like, what is that? I said, it's a sewing tin. I literally purchased it and carried it as a purse. I carried it as a purse. Because my daughter was in, she's in a community theater, and I took stitching with me because I had to be there early with her, like 5 o'clock. And of course, I brought stitching. I put it in here. I carried it as a purse. My husband said, are you gonna do something with that? I said, absolutely not. I might wash it. And he just looked at me. I said, I did wash it, but it needs another washing. But this to me is going to be another project bag. I can put a couple of smalls in here, maybe a couple of smalls from the same designer, maybe even Lori Holt. I'm still working on her stitch cards. I don't know how many more I'm going to do. So I did purchase that. So as far as stitching, that's going to be it. I am going to move on to quilting. Let me just reiterate, if you're interested in stitching this pattern, I will gladly pass it along to you. Please use the word Raven in a comment. If you are moving on and not wanting to see the couple of quilts that I have here, thank you so very much for spending so much time with me. I hope that you were able to make it to the end. Plans are plans. I planned to do a cross-stitch or a Flosstube every 2 weeks, and then, but you know what? I'm not the only one. So many other people are involved in finishing up summer things and, and getting those last-minute vacations in and getting kids off to school and all that fun stuff, that, now it's time for us to sit back and relax a little bit and enjoy our evening stitching. So if you're done with me, I thank you so much for hanging out for this long. And if you want to see some quilting, hang on. Okay, friends, so if you're still with me, I thank you for that. And one thing I did forget to show is my boomer wall. Now, why am I calling this a boomer wall? These pieces that I'm starting to put on this wall are all pieces that I have stitched in the 80s and 90s. This piece here is the one piece that I did rescue. And I finished stitching that for her. It was from a stitchy sister who has passed. And I know in a few videos back, I went through her whole stash and everything. So this is my boomer wall. It has a bunch of my old pieces. This one I made for my mother in 1989. It says, "Call your mother, she worries." I gave it to her for Mother's Day, and she had it hanging in her kitchen all those years. This piece I also made for my mother, "A Garden Nourishes Body and Soul." I stitched that in 1996. So I'm calling it my boomer wall. And I do have quite a few more pieces that I'm framing, and I'm going to pop up on that wall because you can see it's a pretty big wall and it's pretty bare. So I'm going to show you these quilts. Now, I talked about this quilt. Oh my God, my dog is on his back and is like, he's just looking so funny. So I talked about this quilt. This is the quilt, the top that I made. This is the Riley Blake 2024. Yeah, 2024 quilt challenge, quilt block challenge. And every week, the first 3 weeks out of the month, they a different designer would post a block. The very first one was Lori Holt. So there were a bunch of Riley Blake designers that came together. They actually did it in 2025 as well, and I started that. I started the blocks. I never even finished it. I just got too busy with other things that were going on. Okay, so what I did, as I said to you, I've been taking time to do things for me. I looked at this quilt. I had quilted a couple of client quilts, and I have 2 antique quilts here that were dropped off to me for me to quilt and put the binding on. The quilts were made back in the 70s, and my client said, "Can you finish these quilts?" Because they belonged to her mother-in-law's mom. So I finished the quilts. I'm still stitching down the binding on one of the quilts, but they are antique. They're actually cross-stitched. They're cross-stitched quilts, and they're so pretty. So I got done with those, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna quilt something for myself. I did have trouble with my long arm. It had broken down twice, but Naomi's plugging along now. Okay, thank goodness for my service guy that I just met. Anyway, so this is the Riley Blake quilt. Now, each of the blocks is different. Now, the fabric line that I used in this was an Adita Sitar fabric line. So all of the blocks are different. I don't know how far back I can go. I'll pull it up this way. Hopefully you can see all of the blocks. Now, my favorite block is this one. One of my favorite blocks is this one. Gave me some fits when I was doing it. And then this one down here, only because of the fabrics. Okay, so when I quilted this, I just used a swirl, a little bit of a swirl, nothing fancy. I did edge to edge. My backing, I pieced my back. I've got different fabrics here. Like this main fabric here runs down the center. It's got butterflies on it. And then over here, there's this particular fabric. You can see the quilt design on here. And yes, I use computer guided because I can't draw. Anybody that can use rulers and do free motion quilting, God bless you, because I can't draw. So that's why I have computer guided. So, and then there's a different fabric here, but so you can kind of see, that looks actually pretty nice. You can see the swirls in this design. So I put a binding on of stripes, coordinating fabrics. So this is for me, and it's gonna get tossed on the rocker in the living room, or I might toss it on my little stitchy chair over here. This is my husband's chair. My chair's over here because I just like sitting on that side of the room. Now this is the other quilt I talked about. This was a pattern that a designer had posted asking if, for people to test it. It is a log cabin pattern, and it is the easiest pattern to make. And it is the one that I mess up every single time. I'm not kidding you. I had this on the frame and I was quilting it. And I showed a picture to one of the girls at work and I went, "You got to be kidding me." I had 2 blocks on the very last row of the quilt turned the wrong way. So I had to pick the block out and reposition it while it was still on the frame. I have a problem with geometry and moving things and getting it to. Anyway, this is a throw, and I still have a couple things to do. I still have some threads that I want to bury in here, so I do have some pins in here. So what I did with this design, and I know you're not going to be able to see it, this is a 72 by 72 inch quilt. So what I did, I'm going to hold it this way. You can see how the dark and the light run diagonally. Okay. You can see how it's running diagonally through the quilt. Okay. So lights and darks. This is a French General fabric. I used 2 lines of French General because I absolutely love these reds and these blues. I just loved how everything came together. But you can see the diagonal of the dark and the light. Every center block on my quilt here is red. Red in the center of a log cabin block represents the hearth and the home. So all of my centers are red. Now, I custom quilted this for myself because I wanted to take the time. I had no idea. I used 3 different designs, and I laid out the blocks. There's 36 blocks in here, so it's 6 by 6. I drew myself a graph, and I laid out the blocks on the graph, and I chose how I wanted to, where I wanted to place my designs. I had no idea when I got done. Now the back is also French General, but it's busy. The prints are busy, so you really don't see the quilting as much like you saw on that other quilt. But in the center, I can see it. I'm pulling it up so I can see the whole thing and show you the whole thing here. Can you see how the feathers are coming together in the center of the quilt? I didn't plan that. I didn't realize that they were going to look like that when they got done. I was so pleased. If you can see those feathers right there. And what it actually is, the design is here. It's a quarter of a block. So when I put them all together, they met up in the center of the quilt. If I would have planned it, it wouldn't have gone like that, right? So this is a big quilt. This is, something that I'm going to pop on the couch. I even have my label on here. I didn't fill the label out yet. I actually use doilies for my label. So I will write on here. I've got the label stitched down. I have my binding on. I see another thread here. I have my binding on. I took 2 of the solid reds from the French General line. You can see that there is a variation right there. And I did my binding. And I hand stitched my binding on. So I know it is difficult to see the different designs on this quilt because of the lighting and because of the play of the fabrics and that. But there's swirls. You can see that there. There's that feather block again. Right there. Now this particular feather block, as I said, had to be done in 2 stages. It did the feathers, and then it did this section of the block over here. So there's that block with the swirls in it. And then there's this block here. So I laid, you know, like I said, I had three choices. I chose three different blocks to quilt, to use the design, and then laid it out on the pattern and went that way. So I was very pleased with this quilt. Um, and as I said, I've got some threads still hanging, but this is a definite, this is 72 inches long. So this is something that would even fit nicely probably on a twin size bed. So these are the quilts that I've been working on. I really haven't been down in the studio for the past week because I've, you know, been working in here and everything else. But I really was trying to do a quilt video, but I kept messing it up. I'm realizing that I can't do an entirely long quilt video. It just doesn't work. So I'm going to have to replan that and just work in stages. But anyway, that's all I have for you. Just these two quilts that I wanted to show you. And again, thank you if you hung around and looked at my quilting. And I do long arm for clients. I do take orders. If you are out of state, you can ship to me and I will ship back to you. So that's all I have for today. I think it's time for me to go have some lunch. Thank you all for sticking around, and I will see you soon. Bye.